TLDR for this video, basically job requirements, and they're more like a wish list. And if you think that you can do the job, you should apply. Or if you think that you can learn to do the job, you should apply. Don't let the years of experience or that big intimidating list of requirements for skills scare you. The first thing I kind of want to break down here is the good old experience required myth. I'm sure we've all been on Indeed. We're looking for our first job and we see 2 to 3 years experience required. And you're like, how am I supposed to get 2 to 3 years experience to get the job if I can't get the job to get the 2 to 3 years experience? And it's just this giant circle. And in my opinion, for jobs like knowledge work, IT software, using experience as a metric to gauge someone's ability to do the job is kind of fluff. Now there are some jobs, don't take it literally. There are some jobs where experience definitely matters, you know? You're not gonna let some guy do heart surgery on you for like the first time, you know, if he's never done it before. Obviously experience matters in some sectors, but for IT and software and this sort of thing, not so much. The argument for experience is just because you've been doing something for a while, then you're automatically better at it than people who haven't been doing it for that same length of time. Just showing up at your job every single day and going through the motions isn't really gaining experience, at least not in my opinion. To gain experience, you need to be trying to get better at your job. There needs to be some intent behind what you're doing. There needs to be some goal. You have to be reflecting on your weaknesses with whatever you're bad at work. It's really hard to discern what someone is doing in their years of experience, and you don't really know. So when I see jobs saying 2 to 3 years experience, it's like, you don't know what everyone's doing with those 2 to 3 years experience. Someone took 3 years to learn this and it took someone else 30 days. Have you ever gone to work and you've had a coworker that's been there way longer than you, but he's coming to you to ask you questions and he's apparently senior and you're like, how did you get here? How did you get this title? Why are you getting paid so much more than me? Well, he's just been there longer. But that doesn't mean he's good at his job. Better yet, a good example is if you've ever been to college and you've had a professor with more abbreviated credentials than there are letters in the alphabet. Dude has a PhD, HDH, whatever, just pick 3 letters, he probably has them. Dude still can't figure out how to turn on the projector. Dude still can't figure out how to change slides on the PowerPoint, but he's an industry expert. He's got 20 years of experience, but he sucks at his job. That happens a lot. You can have a lot of experience, but still be trash at your job. All right, first of all, don't freak out. This is just airsoft. It's just a hobby and for skits and stuff, okay? Please don't get triggered. When you're applying to jobs online and you see 2 to 3 years experience or 5 or 10, you should instead interpret that as you're gonna get a code test that expects you to know 2 to 3 years experience of stuff. Now, do you actually have to have 2 to 3 years experience to be able to solve the code test? Well, that's up to you and that's up to your ability, which is why I say, if you think you can do the job, you should apply. Before you apply, read the description of your responsibilities in the role. Don't look at the skill requirements at the bottom. There's a big list that says you need this, this, and this, and just don't even look at that. Look at what you're gonna be doing on the day-to-day. And if you can't find it in the job post, go look on Glassdoor. Look at interview questions there. Go to the company website, read about the company. A lot of companies like to brag about the technology that they're using, which is state-of-the-art or whatever. Look at what they're doing right now, and then do one of 2 things. If you think that you can do the job, just even a little bit, then apply for the position. You should see the list of skills at the bottom, that huge list of required skills. Like, only a handful of those are actually required, and most of them are just bonus. Or you can do the second thing. If you think that you can learn how to do those things, still apply. If you're open to learning it and if it's something that you've always wanted to do, still apply. Companies hire based on potential, at least in this field. Here's exactly what you can say when you apply to a job that has skills and technologies that you've never worked with before. Go ahead, let me turn on the corporate voice so that you get an idea of how to phrase this in the cover letter or the interview. It's,
I've been curious about this technology for a while now, but I've only had time to play with it on personal projects. And that's what's so exciting about this opportunity, is that I've been looking for a role that allows me to use these skills and technologies in a professional capacity. And I'm just really excited and willing to learn if you're willing to let me. And I just think it's such a great opportunity.
just say that sentence right there. Their eyes will open and go, tell me more. If they're willing to train you, and a good company should always be willing to train you in some form. Everybody needs a little bit of a ramp up time. No one's coming in on day one at their first few jobs just putting out production work and work that's impactful to the company on day one. It's just not gonna It's not going to happen. There are some companies that want a senior role that's coming in to fix something specific, and that's why they're hiring, and they're not going to train that person because they're paying the big bucks for that. We're not talking about those positions. We're talking about the ones where they know that you're new and they're willing to give you a shot because based on your interviewing skills and your code testability, they think that you could pick this up and still provide impact to their company, still put dollars in their pocket. That's what it's about at the end of the day. The company is paying you a salary and they're hoping that you're going to make them more money than what they're paying you. They pay you $50,000, you better do $250,000 worth of work. The company wants profit, and so if you can show that you can bring that, that's all that matters. But Josh, I hear you asking already, what about those super senior software positions? Well, here is the pro tip. Whenever you see a post for a super senior position, they're always, or most always, considering hiring a couple junior devs instead of the senior dev, but they're not gonna post that. You're never gonna know that. Let me explain why. A senior dev, yeah, they get work done, but they work at their own pace. They have their own ways of doing things, and if you don't like that, then kind of, my way or the highway, and they're expensive. Now compare senior dev to 2 or 3 junior devs. You're taking a chance on the junior dev. Yes, the junior devs pose a little bit of risk and they might be able to do it, they might not, but junior devs are cheap, number one, and they want their foot in the door really bad, which means they're gonna work a lot because they wanna impress you. They wanna show that they can do good work, so hopefully that they can get a raise or get a better spot on their resume so they can move on to a better company. But junior devs are hungry. Most companies are always kind of weighing that option. So if you see a company that you want to work for, apply to it, even if it's senior, because they might be considering hiring a junior dev. That's actually how I got my first React job that was completely remote. So when they responded to me and said they want to do an interview, I was like, just letting you guys know, I'm not really senior, haven't been in the industry that long, but I'm down to do the code test. And in the interview, I said, why did you bring me in? I don't have 8 years experience. I just applied because I needed a job. And they're like, no problem. We were considering hiring a dev with 8 years experience or 3 junior devs. And I was like, huh? They're like, yeah, most companies do this. It's a lot cheaper. And for all the reasons I just explained, he explained to me. Here's another pro tip, kind of similar to the last one, but let's say there's a company out there, your dream company, someplace you've always wanted to work, but you're not qualified, or they're not hiring, or they are hiring, but just not for your position. Well, let's use that example. Let's say you're a programmer and they have a marketing position. I would still say apply to the marketing position, but somewhere in your application, be it your cover letter, your resume, a note somewhere, just make sure you say this sentence. Let me turn on corporate.
If I am not a fit for this specific opportunity, I'm flexible and willing to take other positions that may better fit my qualifications.
This is actually how I got my first mechanical engineering job. I applied to all kinds of positions on the company website, and I said that in every single one of my cover letters, and they messaged me back and they're like, you know what? Actually, we do have something on the back burner right now that we just haven't posted publicly, but this is a position we've been tossing around in our heads, but we haven't really made a position out there for the public to apply to yet, but we think that you'd be a great fit. A lot of companies are considering posting positions out online, but they haven't got around to it, or they're considering a position that maybe takes a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and they just haven't revealed it yet. They just haven't made a official position for it. But if you slide through those DMs and they see your resume and they see your cover letter and they say, actually, wait, this could be a good match for a position that we're thinking about making, we just haven't announced it yet. Yeah, let's interview this guy first. And again, that's how I got my engineering job. The exact same thing happened. They were confused at first, and I was like, look, I'm willing to do basically whatever. And they're like, no, actually, we have a perfect position for you. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't see it online. And they were like, oh, well, that's because we haven't posted it yet. And I was like, perfect, sounds good, let's do the interview. And I got the interview and I got the job. Basically all I'm saying in this video is don't let lack of experience prevent you from applying to a job. And definitely don't let a huge list of required skills prevent you from applying to the job. If you apply to the job, the worst they can do is ghost you or say no. The only thing that you traded for that was the time for a potential opportunity. It's not like sales. You see, it's a numbers game, but you don't need to sell 10% of the product. You only need to sell one product, one time, which is yourself to the company to be able to get the job. But if you do apply and they say no, you don't lose anything. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunities behind the scenes of the job application that you'll just never know unless you apply and try to talk about it with somebody. But that's it. That's the end of the video. If this has been valuable to you, maybe hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're interested in doing a one-on-one with me for job prep, interview prep, opening a business, freelance, brand building, content creation, whatever it is, we could talk about it. And I have some other links down there in the description you can check out if you would like to support the channel. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a killer Friday, and I'll see you in the live stream.